before this committee of the county assembly shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Mr. Farah, I wish to welcome you and thank you for honoring our notification to appear before the committee today, 15th November 2022. Before I officially raise the curtain of this interview session, I request our committee clerk, Isa, to pray for you. Thank you.
Bismillah. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed officers of leaders at county assemblies for the welfare of society and just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favors as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to perform important tasks in this republic. Let the blessings descend upon us, be assembled, and grant we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just a faithful manner as to promote your honor and glory and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen.
Thank you so much.
For the purpose of record, I'm inviting my members to introduce themselves, starting by the chairperson, myself. I'm Honorable Nima Ahmed Sene, chairperson this committee.
I'm Honorable Abdul Rashid Pasha Mumin, member of the committee.
Honorable Abdul Rashid Adan Tajir, a member of this committee.
For Yusuf Mohammed Adan, MC Alben, a member of this committee.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Honorable Mahfouza Haji Abdullah, a member of this committee.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mahad Muhammad Ibrahim, MCA Township Board, a member of this committee.
Kindly, I never got the first name. Mahad.
Mahad Muhammad Ibrahim.
Shukran.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Razak Somo, a member of the committee.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdullah Sanay. I am the deputy clerk. Here with us are also our secretariat. Mohammed Noor is the committee clerk for this committee. We also have Isa, who is helping us in this committee. Equally, we have our Hansard team, which is at the far end behind us. We also have our media team, and we are live on our Facebook page. So welcome.
Mr. Farah, the committee is guided by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the County Government Act 2012, the Public Appointment Act 2017, and the County Assembly Standing Order in dispensing this interview process. We will conduct an engagement with you for 30 minutes, within which we will ask you questions and you answer appropriately. Kindly don't engage the members directly and answer the questions through the chair. Mr. Farah, you have to be cognizant of the fact that you are under obligation to provide the committee truthful and variable information, academic and work experience, and anything to the contrary will lead to no further consideration. Mr. Farah, the committee will be fair and transparent throughout this process. Further, the committee, after the interview process, will submit the report to the county assembly for adoption or otherwise of the report. The committee clerk will confirm your original document against the copies you have submitted previously. Welcome again and feel protected at all times. Thank you. In brief, kindly introduce yourself to the committee and tell us more about your background, academic qualifications, and work experience. Thank you.
And thank you so much. I think you is it edible? I took note. And
Kindly, we are requesting for your document.
yes, please.
Document.
The original one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am Farah Ahmed Osman. I was born in Mandela County 50 years plus back. I was brought up in Mandela County. I went to school there, both primary and secondary. Then proceeded to Cooperative College, where I did my first diploma in cooperative audit. Went to Kenya Methodist University for bachelor's education, bachelor's degree on finance and accounting option. Then I proceeded to Nairobi University for masters in project planning and management. Masters of Arts, project planning and management. Additionally, I did CPA up to and including section 5. I never did the last section. I also attended many workshops, both in food security, finance, and policy development. I have a working experience of 26 years. Most of my working experience was with the NGO. I started as an accountant with NGOs up to and include up to manager, administrative and finance manager in different organizations, both in Somalia and Mandera, Kenya. 2013, I joined the first devolution team in Wajir County as in charge of finance and economic planning. After I did my contract to December 2017, I went back to the NGOs as a trainer and specifically to a women organization called Women for Peace and Development in Somalia, Gedo region, where I was training them on policies, both financial and procurement policies, governance, and then training on other capacity. Then January 2022, I was appointed as an economic advisor by the former Governor Wera until August this year. And when the election happened, I was taken as one of the governor's nominee to the Committee of Assumptions and given 3 months again as an advisor to the current, economic advisor to the current governor. So as I sit here, my contract is yet to expire on the end of this month as an economic advisor to the current governor. That's all I can say about it in summary.
Thank you. Why do you think you are the most suitable candidate for this position?
And I think I cannot, okay, I was taken for the post. And being the most suitable, that's relative sometimes. But I believe I have an experience in the post as finance. Okay, I was in charge of finance and economic planning, but now the docket I'm taken for is finance and budgeting, which is part of the whatever I used to handle in other times. But I believe I have experience in the devolution, and we managed it fairly well. Fairly well. And I remember in my time, I was only chief officer in finance for the period. But the subsequent period had more than 7. So, and in management, when you see a turnover, frequent staff turnover, then there must be something wrong in that. So I believe maybe through the wisdom of the current governor, he looked around and then he saw it's me maybe it's me who can handle the docket very well. Yes.
First of all, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome you. We congratulate you for being recommended for this position. What's your general understanding of the sector and structural changes you're willing to undertake financial management system for efficient service delivery if approved by the committee?
First of all, finance is a wide finance. The treasury itself is a wide department, and it is interrelated to so many other sectors. I think I was looking for finance and auditing. What I can assure the committee and the public is we shall have a prudent management of the resources we are taking care of, both in terms of human resources and funds. There are other related fields like the budgeting, which we are also an interested party or a participant in one way or the other. But my assurance is we shall be guided by the PFM Act and other relevant legislations to manage prudently and efficiently our resources in the government treasury.
Welcome, Mr. Farah. I congratulate for your appointment, for your nomination. Mr. Farah, as a CEO, as a CCO under the Department of Finance and Economic Planning, what do you understand about the county budget cycle?
And the county budget cycle is the cycle from the initiation of the policy document, which is done on August by the CEC, up to when the budget is approved in June. It involves so many phases. We have when the policy is issued, when it is taken to the assembly for approval. So we have the initiation when we issue the policy cycle, the policy paper to the departments for preparation and incorporation of their views. Then towards January, February, there is what we call the COSP, which is brought to the assembly. That gives the estimate and the ceilings per department, and then what is to guide us in our economic policy during that period, during that year, that is the subsequent year. And then from there, we again bring the estimates of June. So initially, it entails the initiation of the process in August up to June when the process is completed and approved by the Assembly. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Farah.
Thank you, Mr. Farah. Your role as a county auditor is to provide transparency in all financial management. How will you handle a situation where you discover financial mismanagement within the county? Thank you.
Well, first of all, even when it depends on when I will discover what time. Is it at the initiation stage? Is it at payment stage? If I discover before payment, I'm the final payer in the process, so that will not be paid. If it is within the process before even it comes for payment, then the officers held responsible for that. That is, if it is within the procurement process, then the process will be halted. If it can be rectified, rectified. If it passes the procurement and then comes to other systems, there are so many systems, there is the IFMI system up to the GP, unless there is a collision, God forbid, which will not happen in my watch, I will stop where the misappropriation is to happen in any stage in the process of payment. There are instances where you might it escapes your attention. And those are normally with collisions from so many personnel in different departments. We shall take an administrative and legal action. That one, the auditors are sent. If they discover, then that calls for, prosecution. We shall channel through the system now. We cannot directly take people to court ourselves, but I'll liaise with other departments to do the necessary legal action, to take the necessary legal action. Yes. Yes.
And thank you, Mr. Nominee,
Yes.
and welcome. And Mr. Nominee, in your CV, it's indicated that you have served this county as the Chief Officer of the Department of Finance and Economic Planning. Yes. And from 2013 to 2017, that's a 5-year term. Kindly tell the committee about the challenges or the conflict you have faced at work during your tenure and how you dealt with it.
And thank you, Mheshimiwa. Conflicts and challenges are there in every docket, and specifically finance has a lot of challenges. But we had so many cases, but what we used to rely on is the guidelines. The guidelines given, the PFM Act rules, and that will set you free. There are things you cannot have control over, especially where expenses are allocated to. That one, is already done from up to the Assembly's party to that. But ours is to make sure that we go by the rules and the PFM Act. And if you're conversant with that, then there is no problem with that. The procurement system is also there. If you go with that, personally, I never had any interest. Personal conflict of interest, personally myself, because I was never a contractor in all those years. I don't remember benefiting from any of the contracts. If maybe You can also check on that. But where we have conflicts is maybe we are given an order that cannot work because of one or two things by a superior. But we always convince them with the regulations that are there, that this is not possible. And you know where I am, I cannot say this is not possible and I keep quiet. No, I'll say this is not possible, but this is possible. So I have to identify the problem and then bring a solution. How that thing can be done otherwise, but acceptable through the system and the rules and the guidelines given. Yes.
And Mr. Nominee, on the same point, as your CV shows, the prior experience, the county chief officer in Wajir County. Tell me your financial department performance over the years. What initiative did the organization undertake? How did the finance support those initiatives, and what were the actual results?
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Through the chair, we were rated as the top financial managers in the whole country. If we were not number one, we were number two in any support. We got an award, so many awards. And in fact, the first credit goes to our honorable governor, who is who was a CPA at that time, but now he's an FCPA. And then the team, the selection team, had also credit for that. So what we were doing was what was expected of us, and I'm sure what we did was worth awards, and we got the awards, so many awards for that time, and we were rated as one of the best, 1, 2, 3 in the whole country. We were either number 1, 2, or 3. One time we were the best in terms of development consumption. Consumption. That we were the best in terms of development consumption. One time we were the best in terms of budget ban rate, and that we did as a team. It's not only me who are involved, from the head of the executive up to the lowest level in treasury, and including the other actors also, including the assembly at that time, because there were checks also and balances they provided. Yes.
Honorable Abdurrashid Adam.
Mr. Nominee, my question goes in line with what my colleague has asked you. In the county government, the procurement officers and the accountant are tender entrepreneurs. How will you control that in Wajir County?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that question, even in the public domain, I'm always asked, how will you change the accountants? How will you change the procurement staff, the entrepreneurs? You know, the fact is, if I become an entrepreneur, anybody below my cadre will be an entrepreneur. Those are the same staff I was using when we were graded as one of the best or the second best or whatever. The problem came, somebody somewhere allowed the system to lose. It is so that is all. Those guys are there, they are competent. In fact, all of them, we have so many CPS in the accounts, we have so many registered procurement registered guys in that docket. I will assure you. And you know, there must be a proviso to any assurance that 1 or 2 cases can happen in my watch. It will not happen in my watch, but it will escape my watch. But you will never see a procurement or an accountant chasing a company for payment. And it is me who pays the last, the last payment to, if you give me the opportunity, that is. So we normally check the CR12 and then see who are the owners of that company. What we used to do, that is, I don't know what used to happen afterwards. And then once that is not the owner, then you can't even assist that person. You just send him away. Now, the trick is somebody's company is used, but nothing, we are oral society. We know the project belongs to who, how was it initiated. And one other thing we used to assure is the project must be done, regardless of, first of all, who owns it, it must be done. But I assure you, the accountant and the procurements, most of them, I interviewed them for the job in the first, when they were being recruited. I know them. We know who is who. There are a few guys who came after us, after I left. But if I will not be an entrepreneur, let me put it like that. If I take that shot, if I will not be an entrepreneur, they can't be one. So, yes.
هون عبد الرزاق دكت.
Good morning, sir. My name is Abdirizak Dakat Ibrahim, MCA from Korondile. I'm a member of this committee. As you know, there is a lot of vending bills across the county. To every department, including health, water, roads, there's a lot of vending bills. These vending bills is hectic and retrogressive to the development of the county. As you know, His Excellency, the Governor, promised to employ external farm audit so that they will differentiate between the genuine vending bills and the fictitious ones. As the CCO, the Chief Officer for Finance and Audit, is there a place where you consider the recommendation of the county assembly member, maybe of respective wards, their recommendation? If they say this is a fictitious, if they say this is a genuine vending bills, will you consider their recommendation? That's my first question.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I think that is already in process. The team, we have seen that in the papers, and I think they will be awarded. And once the team will be awarded to do the verification, they will consult. And apart from doing the physical verification, they will also consult the stakeholders. They will also consult the current honorables who are there in that ward, the department that did the job. We know of cases where if we even insist on only physical projects, there are projects that are physical, done correctly, but payment was given. But somebody might be claiming again. There are that scenarios. You can't discover because you have seen the project is there, you just pay on the face of it. No. We have to ask. We are locals. And if I go to a village and then ask who did this project, they will say it is honorable so-and-so who did. Was he paid? That's another thing. But if you see a different person claiming a project that was paid, that's another thing. So we will consider the honorable's views as one of the interested parties in the place, in the area. But that itself is not also a verdict to say we shall take wholesome his views. There are so many other things we shall be doing to check on the correctness. But be rest assured, we shall not pay a project that has not been done and the rightful owner is claiming. Let me say one thing. What is pending bill is another thing also. All those are not pending bills. Those are of expenditures that were illegally incurred in the first place. And any financial person knows that pending bills are bills that were incurred, and because of time or the elapse of the financial year, we were not able to pay. And the same equivalent funds are in CRF account. That is not the case in our case, in our scenario. These were expenses that were incurred over and above the legal budget that were authorized by it. So is it legal? No. Is that the right figure according to the pending bills regulations? No. So we are giving it a human face. That's why the governor in his wisdom, he said we shall pay whatever is feasible and verified. But in financial terms and the legislation that accompanies, those are not even pending bills. Those were fictitious, not fictitious, over and above budgets that the people who incurred were supposed to be in jail by now. It's very unfortunate that we are lenient on them. Yes.
As the nominee for the County Chief Officer, Finance and Audit of the County Government of Wajir, what will be your top priority? And how will you explain the complex financial topics to the colleagues from other departments?
My top priority is the problem that we are facing in Wajir is people have been complaining of, bribes, 10% payments. Somebody does the job, he doesn't get his payment, somebody else is paid. Vouchers happen, are manufactured after, those payments come. I'll correct that mess. And inshallah, if you give me the mandate and God allows me, I will not see a person who did his job correctly and got it correctly in the first place. And running up and down in the corridors of finance, of treasury, or not getting his payment just because somebody tells him to bring 10% or that. And from my tradition, my office is open. I will not have a visitor at home in my home complaining about money. I'll be there 6 to 6. God allows. If somebody, and I don't close the door. If anybody has a problem, of payment and whatever, he can access me. In fact, even the poor mothers who come and are begging can even access me. So I will make sure I'm available, and if somebody does his job, he gets paid promptly. Our society has also challenged, but notwithstanding that, personally, my priority will be somebody does his job, and then he's paid. Yes.
Honorable Yusuf.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Farah, my question is, as the Chief Officer, Finance and Audit, if appointed, how will you deal with the pressures from family and friends seeking services and favors from your docket once appointed?
The honorables can be asked that question. Maybe I, voted for you. No, me, I was given this job to work for the people. I was not elected. So if nobody can threaten me, is telling me I did you, I give you a vote. So mine is to tell them the facts. This is what I do. Like me or hate me. But their personal, communal contributions, that personal contributions are always there. That you can't skip. And a lot charming.
Savara, we wish you all the best. The committee will submit its report to the county assembly for adoption or otherwise of the report, and we wish you all the best. Make sure you get back your document before you leave.
Thank you so much. If you will give me the job, what you also do is pray for me too. That it becomes easy. It's not a simple job. I know. Yes, please. If you don't give me, that is another. Thank you
Mr. Abdullah, welcome. Kindly take oath.
I, Abdullah, swear by the Almighty God that the information I shall give before this committee of the County Assembly shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Mr. Abdullah, I wish to welcome you. I wish to welcome and thank you for honoring our notification to appear before the committee today, 15th November 2022. For record purpose, I invite my committee members to introduce themselves, starting with me, the chairperson. I'm Nima Ahmed Sanei, chairperson of this committee.
I'm Honorable Abdirashid Amin, a member of the committee.
I'm Honorable Abdirashid Tajir, a member of this committee.
Honorable Yusuf Mohammed, a member of this committee.
I'm Hon Mahfouza Haji Abdullah, a member of this committee.
Honorable Mahad Mohammed Ibrahim, MCA Township Board, a member of this committee.
Abdirizak Dakad Ibrahim, MCA Korondile, member to the committee.
Abdirizak Somo, MCA Al Nur Tulatula, a member of the committee.
Dahaba Yusuf, a member of this committee.
Hamid Abdi Hassan, a friend of the committee.
My name is Abdullahi Sanay Hassan. I am the deputy clerk. I also take this opportunity to introduce our colleagues here. I have my counterpart or my colleague. I will give him an opportunity to introduce himself. But before that, we have Mohammed Noor, who is just seated next to the chair. He's our committee clerk. With us here also is our Hansard team and the members of staff and the public. And our media team is also covering this event live on our Facebook page. So my colleague can introduce himself. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Abdul Hussein. I'm the Senior Deputy Clerk of the County Assembly, and I'm Mr. Nominee on behalf of the clerk. Welcome. All these staff and departmentals are here and to support the committee and ensure the smooth running and successfulness of this exercise. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Abdullah, the committee is guided by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the County Government Act 2012, Public Appointment Act 2017, and the County Assembly Standing Order in dispensing this committee process. We will conduct an engagement with you for 30 minutes, within which we will ask you questions and you answer appropriately. Kindly don't engage the members directly and answer the question through the chair. Mr. Abdullah, you have to be cognizant of the fact that you are under obligation to provide the committee truthful and variable information, academic and work experience, and anything to the contrary will lead to no further consideration. Mr. Abdullah, the committee will be fair and transparent throughout this process. Further, the committee, after the interview process, will submit its report to the committee, to the county assembly for adoption or otherwise of the report. The committee clerk will confirm your original document against the copies you have submitted previously. Welcome again and feel protected at all times. Thank you. In brief, kindly introduce yourself to the committee and tell us more about your background, academic qualification, and work experience. Thank you.
My name is Abdullah Adan. I was born and brought up in Arbajan town, schooled at Arbajan Primary School in my primary days. Then from there, I joined Wajir High School, did my secondary education. Then from there, I joined university and pursued a degree in economics and statistics. From there, in 2016, I joined the county as a county statistician in the Department of Finance and Economic Planning, where I'm currently based. In terms of work experience, I have been part of the team that prepares county plans and budgets for the last 6 years. In terms of formal employment, I've not worked in any other institution formally other than the county for the past 6 years. That is a brief introduction of who Abdullah Adam is.
Thank you. Honorable Mahfouda.
Thank you, Mr. Abdullah. Welcome to this vetting committee. Tell the committee legislative support that is priority for this docket that you are nominated for and of which you will like the county assembly to consider. You've been given the chance.
Given the chance by this noble committee, I know there is M&E policy that is at an advanced stage. When that policy will be ready, it will be brought here to this house for consideration, and therefore is a request that when that policy will be here on the table, the committee and the house at large to give it a priority. Then there is a requirement in PFM Act that the CEC Finance should formulate a legislation on wage bill. That has never materialized so far. If I get the chance to be in that office, I'll work with the CEC Finance to actualize that dream, and within the time that we will be in office, that bill to be tabled here in this assembly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdullah.
Mr. Abdullah, welcome. We congratulate you for being selected among the interviewed and those who applied. Kindly explain to the committee your past budgetary experience, credentials, and what you think makes you stand out among the many candidates being interviewed by the County Public Service Board.
I believe my experience as as a statistician has helped me to encounter with different county plans, like the annual development plan, the county integrated development plan, the budget estimates. That was my main, those are some of my main roles while working for the county for the last 6 years. I believe my expertise as an economist and as a statistician that has helped, develop very crucial policy documents and statutory documents that are needed for county release and other development issues have helped or have maybe convinced the board to consider me for the position.
Thank you.
Honorable Adrisit.
Mr. Abdille, first of all, pleasure to see you, and I wish you all the best in your said docket of nominee. Once appointed, how will you deal with the pressure from the family as well as the friends seeking service and seeking services and favors from your docket?
Family members will be treated like any other, public people, like any other ordinary citizens. I will always be guided by the law and the PFM Act. Anything contrary to that would not be entertained at my desk. In terms of family relations, maybe I will maybe help anyone who come to my table on the necessary offices that they should engage when it comes to the services they are requesting for from my office, because there are many offices in the county. I'm not the, I only occupy one of those offices, and I therefore lead, or I will advise them on the way forward when they're seeking services from different offices.
Honorable Dawa.
Section 12 of the second section of Public Finance Management PFM Act 2012 requires county governments to implement program-based budget, PBB. What is the understanding of program-based budget?
Program-based budget is a budget strategy that highlights the cost of each activity or a program in a given budget. For example, if you look at a program, you can find what are the activities that leads to this program and the cost of each of those activities, and what is the end result of this program. That is my understanding of a budget-based project. It's a kind of budget that helps you at glance at the activities of that program, the cost of each of those activities of that program, and the end result of that program. That is what I understand by a program budgeting, a program-based budget.
And welcome, Mr. Abdille, and congratulations, Mr. Abdille. As your CV indicates, you're a statistician, and you are a nominee on budget and planning. As the nominee of the county and chief officer, budget, statistics, and economic planning, what are your investment strategies and economic planning? What are your investment strategies and funding?
Sorry.
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 And if I repeat again the question,
Okay.
as the nominee, the county chief officer, budget, statistics, and economic planning, what are your investment strategies for funding various departments during an annual budget cycle? That's one question. And in line to that, how do you approach the strategic workforce and planning, and also, and as the county assembly, as the members of the committee, we faces some challenges during the budgeting, during the budget processing on the executive side. I would like you to walk me through the process of budgeting, kindly.
Should I start with the last question, the budgeting process? Yeah. The budgeting process in Kenya usually starts from giving out of the budget circulars that guides departments on how to prepare budgets. From there, we usually prepare the annual development plan, ADP, that should be tabled here at the county assembly by the 1st of September. It is the annual development plan is usually a one-year plan that is extracted from this ADP for a given financial year. Then from there, we prepare the CFSP, the County Fiscal Strategy paper, that should be tabled again by the 28th of February in a normal year, and 29th maybe in a little bit, by 28th in every year, by 28th of February. Then from there we table the proposal, the budget proposal or the budget estimates by June the 30th, which is the last day of that financial year. And 2 months after, we again, bring to the table the finance bill that tells how we raise revenue for the expenses that we should incur in that financial year. About engaging the workforce under my department, the workforce is there. I'm very lucky that I'm now the chief officer I will be the chief officer if given the chance by this committee for the department and the colleagues that I've been working with for the last 6 to 7 years. I think I will not have a lot of issues with the workforce there in my department. We'll work together in harmony to maybe capacity build the staff, and any necessary support they require will be provided for, given the chance to be in that office. I can't remember the first question, please. an individual investment strategy or yeah? Okay, in making budgets. Yeah, we usually budgets is usually done through consultations. We meet through the sector working groups from different sectors. Then we prepare budgets. We work as sectors all across the same sectors and prepare reports. From the reports, we prepare plans. Then after the plans again, we prepare budgets from the plans that we made within that given financial year.
All the best, Mr. Abdullah. The committee will submit its report to the County Assembly for adoption or otherwise of the report. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
What is your net worth?
Yes.
Net worth.
Net worth.
Yes.
About 6.4 terms of land, savings and livestock.
You have not given me chance, eh? Mr. Abdullah.
Okay.
So, first of all, sorry I came late. I was on flight and I did not attend even the first session.
Okay.
My name is Adanur Ibrahim. I'm a MCA from Batalu Ward. Welcome. Feel free. And congratulations for being given this opportunity among many people who have been applied. My question is, what is your take on expenditure incurred over and above the budgetary amount? I'm making this reference today because there is a mess in pending bill because of lack of efficiency and effectiveness in budgetary controls. In regards to, there are a lot of disrespect for budget lines, over expenditures, and department consuming budget of other departments. Kindly give your take on that. First, can I finish the questions?
Okay.
For public to understand and give their views on budgets during public participation, the budget has to be itemized. In that regard, for the past successive years, Wajir County budget was not itemized. How do you do different? My last question,
Okay.
What do you understand by budgeting, and budgetary control?
The first question was the imbalance between expenses and revenues. I think that's what I could
Yeah.
fiscal discipline.
Yes.
Yeah, where sometimes you find the expenses or the expenditure exceeds the revenue, and that results, complicated expenses like the vending bills. I think that should not happen under our watch. We should at all times maintain fiscal discipline such that expenditure should not exceed receipts. That should be the priority for me as given the chance to be the chief of sub-budgets in my, department, who will be in charge of my department. Other departments also have the chief officers. That is the assurance I'm giving this committee that there should be that balance, and the expense should not exceed, the receipts in terms of revenues for the county. Then there is another issue that needs to be addressed, the issue of ballooning wage bill. That has, a lot of challenges when it comes to increase in expenditure. That usually, causes that imbalance between revenues and expenses, and that needs to be addressed, and it requires a bigger platform than just, a chief of staff to address. In terms of budgeting, what do you understand by budgeting? Budgeting is a kind of a strategy where you allocate resources, revenues, where you assign resources to programs and projects, and you implement them within a given time frame. Budgets needs to be, there is no need for one to budget if you don't implement the budget to the latter. And that is maybe, it's very important that budgeting at the budget should be implemented. And that's how you got the question?
Yeah. The question is the budget, budgeting, and budget controls.
Yes. Budget controls is where maybe budget control is you budget as per the revenues that are available to you. You cannot budget for what you don't have. Yeah, we will always budget for the resources that are at our disposal.
Yeah. Thank you. In a simple terms,
Yes.
budget is a planning, budgeting the process, and control is the measures you put in place. The implementation of that budget is to the latter.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All the best, Mr. Abdi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Abdurrahman. Kindly take oath.
Bismillah. I, Abdurrahman Mohammed, swear by the Almighty God that the information I shall give before this committee of the County Assembly should be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. Abdurrahman Mohammed Ahmed.
Welcome, Mr. Abdurrahman. I wish to welcome and thank you for honoring our notification to appear before the committee today, 15th November 2022. For record purpose, I'm requesting my members to introduce themselves, starting chairperson. My name is Anima Ahmed Sanei, chairperson of this committee.
I'm Hon Mahfouza Haji Abdullahi, member of this committee.
Honorable Mahat Mohammed, MCA Township Board, member of this committee.
Honorable Abdirazak Dakat Ibrahim, MCA from Korondile, a member to the committee. Madam Chair, before anything, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the nominee and also take the opportunity to thank His Excellency the Governor for choosing the right people to the right docket. Thank you so much. And I have no question.
And welcome. My name is Abdirazak Ado, MCA El Nur Tula Tula Ward, a member of this committee.
I am Honorable Yusuf Mohammed, MCA Alben Ward, a member of this committee.
My name is Adhaba Yusuf Farah, a member of this committee.
I'm Abdurrashid Adan Tajir, Burer MCA, member of this committee.
My name is Hon Adanur Ibrahim Abdi, MCA Bataluwad. I'm a member of the committee.
Thank you, Hon Chair. My name is Abdi Hussein. I'm the Senior Deputy Clerk to the County Assembly. And we have staff from almost 3 departments here. Staff from Communication Department, Hansard Department, and the Clerking Department. And the clerk, the able clerk in this committee, just next to the Honorable Chair, is Mohammed Noor. And we are all here, the staff, to support this committee and ensure this exercise is successful. Thank you and welcome.
The committee is guided by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the County Government Act 2012, the Public Appointment Act 2017, and the County Assembly Standing Order. In dispensing this interview process, we will conduct an engagement with you for 30 minutes, within which we will ask you questions and you answer appropriately. Kindly don't engage the members directly and answer the questions through the chair. Mr. Abdurrahman, you have to be cognizant of the fact that you are under obligation to provide the committee truthful, verifiable information, academic and work experience, and anything to the contrary will lead to no further consideration. Mr. Abdurrahman, the committee will be fair and transparent throughout this process. Further, the committee, after the interview process, will submit its report to the county assembly for adoption or otherwise of the report. The committee clerk will confirm your original document against the copies you have submitted previously. Welcome again and feel protected at all times.
Thank you.
In brief, kindly introduce yourself to the committee and tell us more about your background, academic qualification, and work experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Abdurrahman Mohammed Ahmed. I'm a Kenyan citizen, age 39 years from Mandera County. I studied both primary and secondary schools in Mandera County. I hold a bachelor's degree in business management, purchased in a supplies management option from Moi University. In addition, I also possess a diploma in human resource management from the University of Nairobi. I'm a career intelligence officer and currently working with Ethics and Corruption Commission for a period of 6 years, where my duties entails collection information related to corruption and economic crime, disruption of economic crime, and unethical conducts, covert financial investigations, lifestyle audit, tracing of corruptly acquired assets for recovery purposes, among others. Previously, I had worked with the National Intelligence Service for a period of 4 years, where I was charged with collection of information and intelligence of security interest. Equally, I had an opportunity to work with the Kenya Defense Forces for a period of 9 years and 4 months. In total, I have over 18 years of experience in the public sector. Thank you.
Thank you. Abdurrashid Adan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Nominee, if approved by this committee and the House, I want to ask you on the county government shall be responsible for any function assigned to it into the Constitution of Kenya 2010. On which chapter of the Constitution is the county government comprehensive cover, and what is the key functions?
Possibly, the default functions are agriculture, ECD, village polytechnics, county road transport, health, among others.
Honorable Yusuf.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Abdul Rahman, my question is, what will be the relationship between you and the legislative arm of this county government, given that there are instances where the county executive failed to provide on-time stationary documents, such as budget policy documents and the quota and annual report of the departments, as well as comprehensive report statements sought by phone members?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll endeavor to have a good working relationship with the Assembly, and whenever I'll be called upon or summoned, I will appear.
Honorable Mahfoud.
Thank you, Mr. Abdurrahman. Welcome to this committee.
Thank you.
What measures have you put in place on revenue strategy that will ensure increased and efficient on resource revenue mobilization and collection, which will result to a balanced budget with an overall objective of becoming self-reliant in budget finance if being given this chance?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Currently, Wajir County government, the revenue department is done manually. I will endeavor to work with the relevant agencies, for example, this honorable house, and we'll endeavor to have automation in place. We can have pay bill numbers for various streams.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Madam.
You have question for the nominee? It's okay.
Thank you, sir, and congratulations for being nominated this position. I was previously staff of Revenue Department for the past 10 years. The department is one of very important department, but mad with a lot of challenges. Starting from staff, majority of the staff there are casuals and many other factors. So just the question has been asked, but I just wanted to know how will you go about with these challenges, especially the staffs who are casuals for a very long period, and also what does Wajir potential of revenue collection, on-source revenue for Wajir County? What do you think is the potential of on-source revenue Wajir County, and the challenges? How do you curb pilferage of revenue collection in the department?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm aware that most of the revenue officers in this county are on casual basis. I will endeavor to work with the County Public Service Board and see whether they will be absorbed on permanent and fashionable terms. On the issue of revenue collection, I think Wajir County government has the potential to collect. It has the potential to meet its target of about 100 million in this financial year, and we will endeavor to collect those. We will endeavor to meet the target. On the issue of revenue leakages, we intend to implement automation whereby you can have maybe numbers for different streams of revenues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdurrahman. I know with your past experience, you will do better in these departments, because it needs a lot of intelligence and information collections. I want to be one of the members in this committee that want to improve on-source revenue in the county. I know the department inside and out, and in case you're given the opportunity, I think I'll be one of your shoulder.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate.
Karibu, and tumeshukuru.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate.
Honorable Abdirizak.
And welcome, Mr. Abdurrahman. And mine is just an overview and maybe some inputs from your end. And about revenue collection in Wajir County, we are facing so many challenges when it comes to revenue collection. It is my humble request or appeal to you that being given the chance, kindly fast track the automation of revenue collection under your watch, and that should be a legacy to you. Thank you.
Inshallah, Madam Chair, I will endeavor to do that, what has been advised.
Mr. Abdurrahman, welcome. Congratulations for making the nominee for the said position. What will be your relationship with the county executive committee member in relation to the role of the county chief officer, given that there are cases where most CECM have been rendered ceremonial and the chief officer act as one-man show? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Every employee of the county government has a job description, and the CEC is my boss. I will respect him. I will obey his orders as long as they are within the law. Thank you.
Mr. Abdurrahman, the committee will submit its report to the county assembly for adoption or otherwise of the report. We wish you all the best and can leave now.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Nominee, you're welcome. Before we start, we want you to take your oath. Then we start from there. Thank you.
Bismillah. I, Dahir Koro Isaac, swear by the Almighty God, the information I shall give before this committee of the County Assembly shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
November 2022, before I officially the cutting for this interview session, I would like to open the meeting with a word of prayer as per the standing order. And I will propose Honorable Tajiri. Pray for us, please.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Next, Mr. Nominee, we want to introduce yourself as this August House, honorable members, the committee members. I am Muhammad Salat, the committee chair, Roads and Transport, MCA from Korofrar Ward.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Nominee, you're welcome. My name is Ali Mohammed. I am the vice chair of this committee, Road, Transport, Public Works, MCA, Danaba Ward.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, Mr. Nominee. I am Rashid Adan Tajir, MCA Burder, member of this committee.
Welcome, Nominee. I'm Fatuma Abbas, special elect.
My name is Fardosa Abdullahi Mohammed, a member to this committee.
Hamid Abdi Hassan, Ward.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rashid Bilowadan, MCA Basir Lakole, member to this committee.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, Mr. Nominee. I'm Mohammed Ibrahim, MCA D4, and a member.
Thank you, honorable members. Let's proceed now. Mr. Dair, the committee is guided by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the County Government Act 2012, the Public Appointments Act 2017, and the County Assembly Service Act number 24 of 2017 in dispensing this interview process. We will conduct an engagement with you for 30 minutes, within which we will ask you questions and you answer appropriately. Kindly don't engage the members directly and answer the questions through the chair. Mr. Dair, you have to be cognizant of the fact that you are under obligation to provide the committee truthful and verifiable information academic and work experience, and anything to the contrary will lead to no further consideration. Mr. Dair, the committee will be fair and transparent throughout this process. Further, the committee, after the interview process, will submit this report to the County Assembly for adoption or otherwise of the report. The committee clerk will confirm your original documents against the copies you have submitted previously. Welcome again and feel at all protected. Uh, okay. Okay. As you receive your certificates, let me start. Mr. Nominee, kindly introduce yourself to the committee and tell us more about your personal background, professional qualification, and work experience.
Bismillah, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for this opportunity to be vetted by this committee. My name is and I began my career in Wajir in terms of my education background. Studied in Harado Primary School, proceeded to Sabunwe, then completed my high school in Sankuri, then did my bachelor's education, Bachelor of Arts education in Islamic University in Uganda. Worked as both educationist and humanitarian development practitioner. I'm a seasoned development practitioner for over 12 years. Before I did my master's in diplomacy and foreign policy executive in Moi University. I have a special interest in decentralization. I have worked in governance and supporting of both federalism and decentralization in the Horn of Africa. For the last 5 years, and I am a development and humanitarian consultant for about 6 years since I left a paycheck giving job for personal consultant services, working with both governments and non-governmental organizations. Before I showed interest in applying for the job of chief officer in Wajir County, and here I am, interviewed by the public service, being vetted by this Edu committee. Thank you so much.
Mr. Nominee, before we proceed also to the questions, kindly tell us your net worth.
My net worth, I indicated in the questionnaire. I think that's what should match, both in terms of assets, cash, and land and animals, around 70 million.
The next question, Honorable Member Fatuma.
Mr. Dair, what do you think makes you suitable for this particular job you are being vetted for?
Thank you so much. Mr. Chair, I applied for the position of chief officer. Any job given to me will have been, I believe, suitable to me. But when I was given as a nominee to the Roads and Transport Department, I looked at my career and found out where I worked with Roads Department and sought where are the leverages I have. First, to begin with, from the lesser parts, I have transversed across the globe. So practically, what good road networks are, both in the region and internationally. Secondly, prioritized. Thank you. That prioritized roads as one of the decentralized functions. I've worked with over 8 regions in Somalia on the joint program for local governance and decentralization. When we worked with the municipalities and federal member states of Somalia, key priority areas where they focused on, because we were giving them some funding from the through the about 6 UN bodies, funded by about 7 donors to champion the cause of and support decentralization incentive in the region. We had worked with the roads department across those municipalities and found out how struggling nascent governance institutions struggle with road and road networks. It interests me and brings this accumulative wealth of experience from both struggling and nascent institutions in federalism to our more robust institutions of our counties. And therefore, in a place where about 10 years of decentralization road network has been done somewhat, but has a huge task ahead, I believe I could bring, one, my international experiences with the development partners, local experiences in terms of nascent institutions working in those areas, and personal experience of sharing my problems with poor road networks in the region, in our areas. I believe with the Disabled Committee, the County Assembly, and the Executive's goodwill, we'll be able to do, and I'll be able to champion and bring these two institutions together and forge way forward. Thank you.
Next. Thank you, Chair. Mr. Tahir, tell us how can you rate road networks in the county, and what level of improvement will you make at the end of your tenure if given opportunity to serve as the chief officer, county chief officer?
I believe the network in our area is somewhat covered by the two previous regime and of the two previous governments or the two previous devolved governments. A good portion of it was the work done at the first part of the first devolution government. However, we have a vast road network in our region. Our area is large in terms of coverage, and therefore there's a lot to be done. Currently, in areas where I believe, Mr. Chair, the committee have been elected from, there is a lot of gaps in this area, much as the nascent devolution program has given some, some good work on this area. So if you tell me how, if the member, through the chair, the member asked how I rate at the moment, it's averagely done, but I believe we could do some excellent job. How I intend to do this, I believe through consultation with the elected leaders like you, the members of parliament, who are also having some engagement on both Kera and Kura and Kenha work in our region, the county executive, we need to allocate a very good budget to this department in order to make our roads all weather. And build on the good work devolution has brought to this county. I therefore think my capacity as road chief officer, together with this able department, together with the sub-county administrators, the local leadership, the county executive, were able to champion this and put these road networks to above average, if not do some excellent job during this time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Nominee, despite the fact that this question is national function, what role will your office play in the realization of the completion of Wajir Madagascar road?
Mr. Chair, thank you so much. The current Madagascar Wajir road, and of course, if possible, even Wajir Mandera road is a realization, and the current national government is committed to it.
My role is to ensure and support in areas where they find the county government useful. Number one. Number two, through the county leadership, the assembly leadership, and especially the leadership and the members of this department will organize stakeholders within the coverage of Wajir in order to support this road network. It's vital for us. It is a business incentive. It's an infrastructure incentive. It makes more mobility more. And therefore, it's to our interest that we work with the national government and the contractors and those even who do other roles around this road to ensure that it's done. So mine is to help in terms of stakeholder engagement. And I'll also see areas where we can have leverage, Mr. Chair, and leave our county employees and the roads and transport sector how they can get a transfer of knowledge during this time, so that at least by the time the function of Kenya is massive, the skills and technical know-how is high, and I anticipate that we can use this opportunity in order to enrich the technical know-how of our group here in the Transport and Roads Department.
Thank you.
It's okay. Mine is about public resource utilization and cost cutting.
Mr. Chair, please, if you could be a bit audible. Yeah.
Mine is about public resource utilization. How best can we use our county staffs to carry out routine road maintenance using our machineries so that we don't incur the cost that is associated with companies that are given contracts on road maintenance. A good example is in this Wajir town, we have Maram the road that normally is maintained by some companies that are given contracts. And we have our plant operators in the station, and the plants are there. In how best can we use those stuffs and those machineries so that we reduce the cost that is associated with such cases? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Chair, that's a very relevant question. It touches on value for money, where we have capacities internally, or we can generate capacities internally to solve some of the problems that might cost us heavily, and use that resources or the public revenue to a better utilization. I'll first envisage that I'm informed that there's a roads and transport bill that has not been passed. Through the committee and through the chair, we think we need to put that into more flesh and cover areas where the able member is talking about. Secondly, I think we need to have a very good machinery that are already available and make them work. So part of the reforms that I can bring to this department is to ensure that we have a county garage that makes sure that it maintains our machinery, number one. Number two, give ample training and skills development to our team. Three, developed or built by our own internal capacities so that we are able to transfer those resources to a better utilization, as the member says. So I'll give a robust decisions on this department, especially at budgeting time, and convince the executive on how we need to have a value for money, cut costs, and ensure that those that are within our capacities are done. I mean, I'm sure in good example, though I'm not in the department at the moment, the routine maintenance of our tarmac road by our internal, mechanisms is a good example. Like, for example, cleaning. This can be done better. Drainage is something that can be done internally with the help of the municipality department and many others. Therefore, we'll think outside the box in order to ensure the value for money, the reprioritization of those resources, as he says, in order to cover our sub-county, and especially knowing well that the current governance, the Restore Hope agenda of this current governor has been that he needs to cover some sub-counties in terms of tarmacking, and therefore those resources will be very critical in this area. Thank you very much.
Honorable member.
Thank you, Chair. Once more, welcome, Mr. Nominee. Are you aware that there is Kenya Road Board's funds given to the counties, county government for road maintenance by the Kenyan Road Board? If yes, how could you ensure that these funds are equitably used across the sub-county, given in consideration of the vastness of some of the sub-counties, and also the needs that arise? In addition to that, most of the county budget, rather the departmental, are not on votes or line program budgets. So kindly elaborate, how could you equitably use your budget? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and team. I am aware that KRB used to exist area where the county has not invested in it, because KRB is a donor money, and it needs to be utilized to fill in gaps where the county has not been able to cover. And I think essentially that's what makes donors, attracted to where you are able to cover the gaps where you have as a department or as a government. So how will I prioritize? Number one, I will involve elected leaders at the county assembly, the sub-county admins, the town admins, the community, stakeholders at the ground level, and first stipulate what the county is doing in terms of the resources given by internally by the government, and what KRB is ought to do. And therefore, through this reprioritization, we're able to know to what extent is the county doing, what can the donor resources received at KRB be able to do. Just like you know that the roads are classified, some roads are supposed to be done by certain functions of governments. So this is number one. Number two, I didn't get what the member said on the last question in terms of resource allocation, but I believe that he was alluding to equitable resource distribution in terms of roads. And I believe...
The chair, I ask the equitable sharing, how will you equitably share within the sub-counties in regards to the sizes, the needs, and all that? Thank you.
If it's that, Mr. Chair, I don't operate in vacuum. I operate within what the budget. I'll involve disabled members. We'll be able to cover this. I mean, the county assembly is also a participant of our budgets. So we'll ensure at design level, that we consider sub-counties. We consider, there's a lot of heterogeneity within even our homogeneity. Of road coverage in terms of access to those roads. Where there's high need for our communities to be more mobile, we'll be able to do it. So with the help of this committee, with the help of the assembly, and with the help of the executive, I'll be able to have a robust, all-inclusive budget to cover our road networks.
We are almost ending. Inshallah, I will conclude with Mr. Honorable Tajiri.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Nominee, how will you ensure that the strict adherence of the regulations of the governing issues of tenders in your department and measures will you incur on all road projects in the county are completed on time so that there is no arise of the anti-corruption body following up? In line in that, in the previous regime of the county government, the accountant and the engineers in your departments, if you are nominated, were entrepreneurs. How will you stop that?
Thank you. Mr. Chair, through you, the member asked on how I will be able to. I wish to start with the second question about entrepreneurship and tenderpreneurship by departments. First, I think an institution is as good as its leader. First is to set the record straight. I'm one person, personal level, who has no company, has never tenderpreneured, and I don't think will tenderpreneur. Not at national level and not at local level. Number two, I will have a strict adherence to the PFM and Public Procurement Act, and that's enough benchmark. If any official is found culpable, I'll be the first person to suggest, with the help of the assembly, with the help of the, the laws available within, to ensure that we take them to book. Regarding maybe the first part of the question that I already forgot about, if the member could repeat.
Regulations governing the issue of tenders in your department, and what measures will you ensure that all road projects in the county are completed on time?
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I already alluded to something about the PFM and Public Procurement Act, and that covers entirely. It's about how disciplined you want to follow those procedures. Number one is to ensure that those committees are set on time. Number two, the tendering process is followed to a letter. Number three, you're able to give time for complaint mechanism before you award. And lastly, once you award, it's about also making that the internal monitoring team you have execute timely. I'll be able to engage. I'm sure the good thing is that the number of wards available have elected leaders who will be able to be following up in my office and telling me this is not completed, this is not done. So I'll have an internal deadlines within which these projects will be completed. Failure to which is either you offer explanation that's adequately available, or I take steps and recommend for changes with those institutions. And if the road department is not working and I'm not able to change, then I will have to leave personally culpable and tender my resignations and avail people of Wajir to give them a better chief officer than I am. I'm either changed or I change things. Thank you.
I hope you're contented, Honorable Member. Let me give this opportunity to Honorable Member Ordosa.
Mr. Dair, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this committee once again. And my question is that, what is your understanding on the status of the good pending bills in this department? If you are confirmed to be the CCO in the docket, you are being nominated. What plans and procedures do you have to clear all the legitimate pending bills?
Mr. Chair, just like an ordinary Wajirian, I hear about pending bills a lot. I have not worked with the county government for the last 10 years devolution existed. I happen to be a member who either benefited from a good road or a good water source or a good light provided by our street lights if they are there and working. In terms of bending bill, I hear there's huge bending bill. but this is a hearsay story. I'm not yet in office. Once I'm in office, I'll take stock of what's available. Number one. Two, we'll have an internal committee to find out and streamline those that are genuine, those that are not genuine. Number three, I'll involve the roads department committee in terms of first ensuring that we have a participation in the verification of these bending bills at the assembly level and at the executive level to ensure that what is genuine that was done are paid to our people because those are services that were rendered. I am not sure if any one of you can be able to tell me to pay to generate payment for any that was not done because you're already a level of accountability at yourself. So number one, through you, Mr. Chair, I'll take stock of what is there, find out because knowledge is from what you know to what you don't know. Once I know what I don't know, I'll be able to generate a work plan on an action point on what's supposed to be done, both at the assembly level and our side at the executive level. And number three, this is a bending bill, and that's a menace across, the other departments. We'll have an ample understanding as government to come and clear those bending bills. Above all, I am only initiating some of these things. It also requires a good legislation from your side and a goodwill from the executive. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Honorable Vice Chairman, would you have?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Nominee, you say that you have a wealth of 70 million, and you say you are not an entrepreneur, and you are not, you don't have a company. I am asking, how do you acquire that huge money or that wealth? Through which source? Yeah, thank you.
Work and good pays that I was getting, I have invested in land and other opportunities. I'd not say I'm not engaged in business. I could be a very good businessman. Thank you.
Could Thank you, Mr. Nominee. The committee, after the interview process, will submit its report to the County Assembly for adoption or otherwise of the report. So if you have any comment, you can give us.
Not really. Thank you. I'm looking forward to ample time given to me and very good questions and with very committed.
COVID, and I wish you all the best. You can leave now. It's a pleasure. Welcome once again. Mr. Omar, I wish to welcome and thank you for honoring our notification to appear before the committee. And before we proceed, I want the clerk to take an oath.
I, Omar Adan Ahmed, swear by the Almighty God that the information I shall give before this committee of the County Assembly shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Mr. Omar, I hope you have your original certificates, please. Mr. Omar, I wish to welcome and thank you for honoring our notification to appear before this committee today, November 2022. Before I officially raise the curtain for this interview session, I would like to open the meeting with a word of prayer as per the standing order. Honorable Abdirashid from Pasir Lekole Ward, please pray for us.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين صلى الله عليه
Mr. Omar, the committee is guided by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the County Government Act 2012, the Public Appointments Act 2017, and the County Assembly Service Act number 24 of 2017 in dispensing this interview process. We will conduct an engagement with you for 30 minutes, within which we will ask you questions and you answer appropriately. Kindly don't engage the members directly and answer the question through the chair. Mr. Omar, you have to be cognizant of the fact that you are under obligation to provide the committee truthful and verifiable information, academic and work experience, and anything to the contrary will lead to no further consideration. Mr. Omar, the committee will be fair and transparent throughout this process. Further, the committee and that's all. The committee, after the interview process, will submit its report to the County Assembly for adoption or otherwise of the report. Next, we proceed to introductions. Let me start from myself. Honorable Muhammad Salat Ibrahim, MCA, Profarar Ward, Chairperson, Committees of Roads and Transportation, Public Works and Housing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ali Muhammad Abdurrahman, MCA, Danaba. I am the Vice Chairman of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Honorable Abdirashid Adan, MCA Burder, member of this committee. Welcome, Mr. Nominee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Welcome, Omar. I'm Fatuma Abbas, special elect.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Fardos Abdullah Mohammed, a member to this committee.
I'm Hamid Abdi Hassan, MCA Workudud Ward, a member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Rashid Bilawadan, MC Basir Lakole, member of this committee.
Welcome, Mr. Omar. I'm Mohammed Ibrahim, a member of the committee, MCA D4.
Also, we have a representative for clerk.
Welcome, nominee. My name is Muhammad Abdi, Director Research. With us is Syed Osman, a clerk attached to the committee, and various staff who are given backup to this committee. Thank you.
Mr. Omar, before we proceed, kindly tell us who you are.
Thank you, Chair. My name's Omar Adan Ahmed. I'm a resident of Wajir, a professional with a training in a multidisciplinary setup. I was born in Wajir County in the year 1988. By then, it was known as the Wajir District. I have schooled in Wajir for my basic education. I've joined Wakberi Primary School the year 1996 and did my KCP in the year 2003. Thereafter, I have joined Wajir High School and did my O levels and completed my O levels the year 2007 and attained a mean grade of B plane. After that, I joined the University of Nairobi the year 2008 and enrolled for a course in Bachelor of Arts with a major in sociology and public administration. I have graduated from the University of Nairobi the year 2011 with second class honors upper division. After that, I worked with a non-governmental organization which was working in this region, which was known as the Save the Children UK, as a health and nutrition promoter for a period close to a year. After that, I joined the education sector and served as a director of one of the leading schools in Wajir County, which is known as Wajir Excel Academy, which have improved the livelihoods, the education of young people. I've changed the education system of the young people who have now joined excelled in their primary education and joined the tertiary education. In my period in the education sector, I was recognized by the Kenya Private School Associations, which appointed me as a member of the National Committee, which I have served up to this year. And when I was serving at the Kenya Private Schools Association, which is a body which brings together all the primary schools, the secondary schools, and which are private in this country, and I've served as a member of National Committee. I've received trainings within the country and outside the country. And during my period, when I worked in the Kenya Private Schools Association as the National Executive Committee member, I was nominated to the County Education Board, an institution which is recognized by the law under the Basic Education Act of 2013, which establishes a body that oversees the functioning of the education system within the county. And I've served in the County Education Board from the year 2019 up to recently 2022, of which I was appointed after being nominated by the Kenya Private Schools Association. I was nominated by the Cabinet Secretary, the former Cabinet Secretary, Professor Magoha, and Madam Amina to serve in the County Education Board, where I've got enough experience, managerial and administrative experiences to serve in the education sector. And after that, during my stay in the education sector, I have trained as a teacher, where I've joined the University of Nairobi the year 2013 and completed the year 2015 with a course in postgraduate diploma in education and where I've trained as secondary teacher with courses in history and religion. After that, I joined the Open University of Tanzania in Dar es Salaam in the year 2020, of which I have completed my studies recently and awaiting graduation. I have vast experience in the education sector and other sectors, including the NGO and community sector. Thank you.
I welcome Honorable Member Thomas Abbas to ask.
Welcome, Mr. Aden.
Thank you.
What do you think makes you suitable for this particular job you are being nominated for, and highlight some of the key achievements you have attained before that relates to the portfolio you are being vetted for?
I believe I'm a person who can change scenarios at the work sector, having professional and work experience. I believe I can steer around work at any sector, considering my vast experience and my result-oriented working mechanism. I'm a result-oriented person who can achieve results at any work, given the opportunity, I can be able to, take up my duties seriously. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Omar, how will you ensure strict adherence of all regulation governing issuance of tenders, and what measures will you ensure that all projects are completed on time?
Thank you, Chair. The procurement system is guided by a set of laws, which include the Procurement and Disposal Act 2015 and the Constitution of Kenya, Article 227, guides on fairness on the procurement process. If given the position, I shall ensure that I shall be guided by and bound by the necessary laws of the procurement system in the country. There are many challenges that we have seen in the past as far as issuance of tenders is concerned. And that was resulted by, those who are in position of accounting officers not following the laid down procedures as far as, issuing tenders is concerned. If given the position, I shall be guided by the national values and the principles of good governance as a public servant to ensure that I ensure fairness, impartiality, and I shall be guided by the rule of law in ensuring that fairness is achieved. And more specifically, the Procurement and Disposal Act 2015, which is the latest law which regards procurement and procuring services and disposing goods and services in the public sector, is well followed by those who are working under me. And in that regard, everything shall be going on as well. And by doing so, there shall not be any form of complaints or, those entities that are charged with the responsibility of ensuring that there's ethics and like the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission shall not have any way of actually apprehending any official in my department if the laws are followed to the letter. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Producer.
Mr. Omar, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this committee as a member. And my question is that, Mr. Nominee for Public Works and Housing, how do you ensure as a county we achieve cost-effective infrastructure, including government building and other public works?
Thank you very much. The public works sector is guided by a set of regulations. Most recently, the National Construction Authority Act of 2011, and the same amendment to the same act in the 2021. And being a nominee of the Department of Public Works and Housing, given the position, I shall ensure that all regulations that guide the public works and housing sector are followed to the latter. And I shall ensure that those who are working under me prepare designs that are in compliance with a set of regulations in the sector. And by doing so, the bill of quantities, the designs that they come up with are followed to the latter. You realize that sometimes contracts that are given in the public works sector may not give the public value for money. Value for money in the sense that maybe somebody is told to construct a house or a building or an office, and maybe the set of construction regulations are not followed to the latter. Under my watch, if given the position, I shall ensure that the engineers and the quantity surveyors and all those technical staff and personnel who are working under me are capacity built. We shall do capacity building to those technical staff, and they must be in compliance with the National Construction Authority Act. If I give you some little information on the National Construction Authority Act, it's an act that guides and regulates the construction sector of our country. It was, previously this was under the watch of the Mother Ministry of Public Works, used to do the registration of contractors, registration of engineers and artisans. But now the role has been demystified properly. The role of, of doing the registration of maybe artisans, accreditation of contractors was, brought under the National Construction Authority Act, which is very clearly spelled out. And all contractors must be registered with the National Construction Authority. All engineers who are taking up, building works must be registered and accredited by the National Construction Authority. And by doing so, we shall bring sanity to this sector, which over time has been overtaken by events. And sometimes you realize that National Construction Authority are not based here, and those officers who are the technical staff will not put much emphasis on the regulation. The regulation, if followed properly, as the Honorable Madam has said, shall ensure that the cost-effective building and construction of public sector shall be achieved, and by doing so, the budget that this very house passes and the money that belongs to the public is used prudently for the purpose it is set out. And houses that are durable, offices that are durable and are in compliance with the Occupational Safety Act, which ensures that a house that is built or an office is built is in compliance with the health standard is achieved. And under my watch, if approved, I shall ensure that the public works sector and the housing sector shall be revived and shall follow the set of regulations. Thank you.
Honorable Haikala.
Mine is about the construction of what you call the septic tanks that we use for human waste disposal. It is becoming a norm that there is no regulations, government regulations for that purpose, and any individual normally just dig a hole and just construct a structure there. And these things, this issue, the department concerned is the Ministry of Health, the Department of Health, and there is a way that we're also concerned in the engineering part. The engineers are supposed to give the approval of that structure. So how best can you do so that those individuals comply with the relevant laws so that the health of the people of Wajir is really safeguarded?
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's an issue of concern to the main residents of Wajir. In fact, the septic tanks has been a challenge, especially the mode of construction of the septic tanks. Sometimes those who are building the septic tanks are not conscious of the health aspect of the citizens. And this concern, as a member of the public, even before I was, nominated to this position, I have seen, such kind of concerns have been raised by the community. And inshallah, if I am approved as a Chief Officer, Public Works and Housing, considering that I previously said that all regulations shall be followed to the latter, I shall ensure that I bring all those who are involved, especially the Public Health Department, on board together with my technical staff to ensure that a design is developed. For Wajir County on the modalities on how to build a septic tank that is in compliance with environmental standards. In fact, nowadays even there's a challenge of, there's a mushrooming buildings, there's what's called the biogas digester that has been introduced. Also, concerns has equally been raised on the biogas digester. And I think that shall be an urgent issue once I assume office, inshallah, and you approve me as the assembly. I shall ensure that I bring the Public Health Department on board together with my technical staff so that we can prepare a mechanism of building the septic tanks, and enforcement shall be put in place. Anybody who goes against the enforcement actually shall be taken to a court of law, because in any case, anything concerning health cannot be discussed. In the law, as per the law says, the Public Health Act supersedes all Act of Parliament. All Act of Parliament except the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. So I think that one we shall work on it. Thank you.
Honorable member, yes.
Welcome once more, Mr. Omar. Mine will be about the approvals of the buildings, especially the first sub-counties. Buildings are just erected anyhowly, be it private or governmental, without considering or taking care of the approvals and the specialists in place. After maybe spending millions of money, all of a sudden you'll see the house is condemned, especially like my ward. There is a building of about 10 million, which has been condemned recently. So how best will you avoid such carelessness that usually arise from your department, especially the engineers? Thank you.
Thank you very much. One of my goals, if I am approved as a nominee, is to ensure that the technical staff are well guided on the mechanisms of dealing with contractors and other departments. My office as a chief officer shall be able to direct I will coordinate all the construction works in all departments of the county government to ensure compliance on the regulation of the building regulation, code of regulation is followed to the latter. And, there's a general challenge in our society, even the private sector, as the Honorable has mentioned. In fact, the foundation is something very critical. And our place, this is a sandy soil, which cannot be able to hold all that, for a durable and strong housing. Buildings that can be able to stand for a long period and give the public value of money. I shall ensure those who are working under me, I shall form a committee within the technical staff to ensure that, bills of quantities are prepared as per the regulations that guide the sector. And in fact, we shall be able to, because the National Construction Authority is an entity that I've told you is in charge of regulating the building and construction sector in Kenya. In order to ensure that we give the public value for money, we shall engage the national construction after capacity building our staff, the technical staff, and giving them proper guidance in order to oversight what they are doing and ensure that they are in compliance with the regulations. We shall engage the National Construction Authority, which now even has an office. It has an office in Wajir for now, so that to ensure that even those, as per the Act, all those who are engaged in the building and construction sector must be registered and accredited with the authority, including the artisans, the engineers, the plans are supposed to be, planning, proper planning and design is supposed to be done. In the public sector, I think that is not even a question to be asked. In the public sector, we must bring sanity to the public construction sector. That one is must to give the citizens value for money. Under my watch, inshallah, I shall ensure that compliance is achieved. In the private sector, there's a challenge in the private sector. We shall be able to train artisans and local artisans so that we guide them on what the regulation wants, and we do enough capacity building so that our citizens outside there, the private citizens, get value for their money and get houses that are durable and strong and in fact in compliance with the health standards, so that tomorrow we don't have a scenario of your buildings collapsing and emergency cases arising. That one, I can assure you as a committee, if approved, I shall ensure that all public work buildings in the government sector all contractors and all engaged must be compliant, or otherwise quit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Nominee, I'm asking, describe your management style. What is your philosophy in building and developing a successful team?
In building and a successful team, as a team player, I will bring together all those who are working under me, those who are the technical staff, the administrative staff, so that we can be able to read from the same script. You realize that many sectors do not perform very well. In fact, even the public sector, because those who are working together do not read from the same script. Under my leadership, I shall ensure that all those who are working under me and are brought together for successful execution and implementation of the department project, inshallah. And by doing so, we shall be able to achieve a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Nominee, have you ever done any community service before? And if you have done it, if it's yes, what is your biggest achievement?
Yeah, I've done community service while I was serving the education sector. In fact, I have given scholarship in my institution, scholarship to young people who are from poor background. I've taken them through the primary education, and even some of them I've gone extra extent of taking them to secondary schools, paying for their school fees. Others I have assisted, I've done many community projects in the education sector that I have served. It is numerous, and I know many people, even young people, I've changed the lives of many young people who are today in universities. Others are even working in this county government. Thank you.
Mr. Nominee, I am asking, what's your net worth?
My net worth is around 50 million. I have invested in the education sector, which I was working for the last 11 years. I have invested in the land and rental, or now it's known as the real estate sector. I'm also a farmer. I have a farm and parcels of land within Wajir and outside Wajir. And also I'm an animal herder also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nominee. Mr. Omar, the committee will be fair and transparent throughout this process. Further, the committee, after the interview process, will submit its report to the County Assembly for adoption or otherwise of the report. I can say, if you have any comment, can say.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all the committee members, and it's a pleasure to meet you. Strong team within the department and outside the department. Thank you very much. I shall be able to work with you and work together if you approve me as a nominee for the department. Thank you very much.
Okay, inshallah, have the prayer once, otherwise you are on it, and I say congrats.
Thank you.
Can leave at your pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. And Nominee, Mr. Mohammed, you're welcome. Please, we'll take an oath before we engage you. Thank you.
Bismillah. Bismillah. I, Muhammad Khalif Muhammad, swear by the Almighty God that the information I shall give before this committee of the County Assembly shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. Honorable Clerk, please pray for us. Welcome once more, Mr. Mohammed. We'll start with the introduction. My name's Honorable Mohammed Ibrahim, MCAD. I'm the chair of this committee. I will start from my left-hand side.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Son Mahfoud Abdullah Haji, a vice chair to this committee. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Abdirazak Bakad Ibrahim, member to the committee.
And my name is Abdirazak Ado, a member of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ali Muhammad Rahman. I am a member of this committee.
Assalamu alaikum, Chairman, and the rest of the people. Welcome, Mr. Nominee. My name is Mohamed Noor Farah, MCS Sarman, member of this committee. Welcome.
I'm Ismail, the clerk to the committee.
Thank you all. Nominee, you are welcome once more. This is a committee of the County Assembly, constitutionally vested with the authority to conduct confirmation hearing to establish suitability of your nomination by His Excellency the Governor of Wajir County as the Chief of Staff for ICT and the e-governance. We will have an engagement with you for about 30 minutes, which we will ask you questions and we will request an appropriate answers. Kindly don't engage directly. Answer the questions through the chair. The committee clerk will confirm your original against the copies you have submitted previously as we continue. If I please circulate your document. As you wait, I will start with questions. Mr. Mohammed, kindly introduce yourself to the committee and tell us more about your background, professional qualification, and work experience. Thank you.
Bismillah. Thank you, Chairman. So I've heard my full names are Muhammad Khalif Muhammad. I was born in Dif, but I was brought up in Wajir town, Magberry. Now, I started my schooling at Magberry Primary School in 1994. I later proceeded to Wajir High School and completed 2005. Thereafter, I went to pursue accountancy profession. I'm currently a member of ISPAC, a certified public accountant. After completing, I then did my degree. That is so far my level of education. Now, by the time I was pursuing my professional career as an accountant, I was also, beside that, working or engaging in a part-time or full-time in most of the cases. I started practicing as an accountant. 2006, immediately I was admitted to, KCA. That's where I did my CPA. But then I was not allowed to go straight to CPA because even with a high grade, you will not be allowed to pursue CPA straight unless you have C class and in English and math. So I started from an accounting technician. At that time, I was engaged in doing as an accountant, as an assistant accountant. Then from 2007, 2010, I was working with a real estate company. After I had completed my profession as an accountant, I went to work with Hus Petroleum. Most of you know the Hus Petroleum. It's an oil marketing company. It's based in Nairobi. Now I worked with Hus from the year 2011 to the beginning of 2011 to the end of 2012. Now I decided to leave that company because I wanted to pursue my own business. I had opened an hotel in Nairobi, but I also had other engagement outside the managing the hotel. So it was not running well because most of the time I was absent and I could not attend to it. So somewhere, because of lack of proper management, it could not go well. Now, after that hotel collapsed, I went to a 1-year job to do with oil dealer company, station owned by Hus Petroleum. For 1 year, 2014, 2015, I was called to be a manager in another petroleum company. But 2015, end of it, I decided to leave that company. At that point, that's when now I decided to join the county government. Now, when I joined the county government, I could get a position in internal audit department. I was employed as internal auditor 1 and later promoted to the principal internal auditor. As at now, that is my position. Thank you.
Thank you. I will give to the Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Nominee. Being given a chance as a CCO in ICT and e-government, in relation to the global digitalization, what is the status of digital connectivity in Wajir County?
Thank you, Chair. At that question, I don't have an absolute of the connectivity rate of Wajir County because I hope our connectivity is very huge because if my understanding is mobile connectivity, do you mean that? Okay, most of the areas is covered by this network coverage, but I cannot confirm to the committee the extent or the absolute figure or I cannot say 70%, or I cannot say 80%. But what I know is that network coverage in Wajir is very good. I hope, I don't want to the committee to quote me, but I hope it's about 70 and above. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khalif.
Thank you. I think I'll give the next question to Honorable Duckett.
Mr. Nominee, what is your understanding of e-government and its general objectives in Kenya?
Thank you, Chair. My understanding of e-government is that it's a situation where the government operates paperless, or the service of the county government or the national government is carried out using internet technology. It's a setup where there is no paperwork. It's done through a network, through a technology that delivers the service of the county government to government, that delivers the service of the government to the public, and that delivers the service of the government. I mean, or the county government to other departments of the government. Thank you.
Honorable Somo.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Nominee, my question is, and I want you to give us some of the challenges faced in e-government implementation and the possible solutions.
Thank you, Chair. There are many challenges. One of them is that lack of political will. For example, I may take an example of the Huduma Center, which is a government service or a delivery mode. Huduma Center will not go far without the support of the government. Now, it's because of the support of the government that sees that this thing as a method that is used to communicate the service of the government to the public, that Huduma is becoming a more, an example or the best method of, offering the service to its citizens. Now, without that political will, that will be a problem. The second one is that lack of resource. For example, this, for example, the Huduma Center needs maintenance, it needs, purchase or procurement of the equipment, maintenance of the system. So without proper resourcing, that will not be possible. That will be another challenge. The other challenge is that, there's also low uptake of the information technology itself. For example, I take an example of our area now. Uses of internet or technology, although of late it's becoming more, useful, or it's becoming more pronounced. Initially, or even at some point, it was not, that advanced. So even if someone brings, the best technology method, that will not still work because, people are not enlightened about the information technology or this, and there's a lack of knowledge, to use that technology. So if there's no knowledge and the people are not, willing or adapted to the system, it becomes, a challenge now to undertake or to implement that challenge, the internet. I mean, the technology. The other challenge is, maintenance of, of the equipment. This thing, it goes under wear and tear. It is a time, it's a time, this technology is limited by time because most of these things undergoes wear and tear. So at some point you need to write off, or you need to dispose of this equipment and purchase a more advanced or a more, suitable gadgets. And because of information technology that is becoming obsolete day by day, that will now be a big challenge. Some of the solution is that some of the solution is that proper resourcing, government commitment to maintain and undertake the initiatives, public participation when we are, undertaking the e-government methods. I think those are some of the, solutions to the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. I will give this chance to my honorable member for the number.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Nominee, describe your understanding and vision of the position of chief officer. That's my question.
I'm not getting well, Chairman.
I am asking, describe your understanding and vision of the chief officer's position.
Fine. I was an auditor before I was, nominated to this position. And even at the moment, I'm an auditor. During my time on audit, I carried out a risk, analysis of the government operations. So I understand where the problem lies. The second issue is that I did an audit of the governance structure of the department across the county. So I know what it entails to govern or to manage a department. Besides that, I have an appetite for introducing a more technological advancement to the department. So that's why I'm encouraged to head this department.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two questions to ask the nominee. My first question is, what will you do in ensuring that information such as climate change reaches every citizen in this county? That's number one. Number two, if you are given this position, what is your plan? The whole county, what is your plan ensuring that there is access to internet in every facilities across the country? I mean, we are county and service supposed to be decentralized to the farthest end, especially my ward, like Gunana, where there's no people who are educated much. So what we're asking is, what is your plan so that those people get information?
Thank you, Chairman. You can reach to the rural areas through a radio program. I think that's as of now, the most suitable mode of delivering the service to or conveying the message to the people. Because there may be low connectivity or there is no internet coverage. So one of the reasons to access climate change information to the rural area is through through the radio programs or radio, conveying the message through the radio program. One other things we can do is that through the words, we can also have, notices or the circulars issued by the government from time to time by relaying that information. One other method is that, you can engage our staffs in the department like health, like ECD teachers, like the warden means to go and visit the nearest area where they have access, or even by facilitating them to get access to those areas. I think those are some of the the channels we can use to convey that, that message. The second question, it was about connectivity.
What is the plan, strategic plan, to have access in the public offices, public facilities like hospital? For example, in sub-counties, we have, like in health, we have some information system in place. But e-government, we have not seen such. So I'm asking, what will be your plan?
Thank you, Chair. You know, in Wajir, there is a fiber connection to Wajir town. There's also fiber connection to except Diva and Gorpara, Baswain, Tarbaj, and Las Gute. There's a fiber connection, but up to the point of the office of the DCC, District Deputy County Commissioner. So now, in partnership with the Ministry of ICT, as a department, we don't have that mandate. We can partner with them, or even by, giving a proposal to them that we will sponsor part of the cost, that the fiber connection be extended to the most of the facilities of the county government, like health, the dispensaries, like what that means, which is a critical, organ of the county government, of the default functions. Now, through that, we can partner with the Ministry of ICT to extend, the fiber connection to those facilities. One other option we can use is that the mobile, network, which is a commercial. Now, they up to as now they're offering some, Wi-Fi network. We can as well have a Wi-Fi network in those areas, like community centers, like the word mean. And through that way we can increase the internet access to those facilities. Thank you.
Thank you. Bwana Nominee, Mr. Mohammed Khalif, as we conclude, we would like to know your network. I don't know whether you have indicated in your questionnaires, yes, but please elaborate for us.
Thank you, Chair. You may wonder if I say my network because I'm not rich enough. I'm just a mere county government employee. I own some few cameras, about 22 of them. I also own, I'm a herder. Don't wonder with me. I also own goats. Those two camels, if maybe most of you are, aware of the value of the camels, I may say about 50 each. So that's about 1.1. I also own about 130 goats, probably an estimate value of 4,000 each. So that's about 400 something. I also own a residential plot where I'm living now, including my house. Probably it's about 2 million something. So that's my net worth. I don't own much. So that's the much I own. Thank you.
So a total estimate of?
Okay, what I indicated in the form and what I am saying now is a big difference because I had not by then valued my house. I only valued the plot. So the value of plot I valued at about 1.5.
So you have a rough estimate of how much?
About 4. About 4.
4 million.
About 4 million, yes, including the residential plot.
Thank you. I think we will conclude with that. I would like to thank you once more, and as we wish you well, this committee will prepare a report that will be submitted to the House, which will be subjected for approval or otherwise, and we wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm looking forward to work with the committee because it's the committee that gives me the mandate to increase the budget. I'm looking forward to work this committee because this is the committee that gives me the power. It's the power behind me. So I'll appreciate. And if I'm, appointed as a chief officer, I will not disappoint you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Dia. Dia. Dia comes. Organization. Upon a designation season and so.